What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to an Art of War tier list. I am joined by the ever-present, lovely Michael here, and we're going to be discussing Orks!
You're more of an orc than I am.
You have to bring that energy. If you don't bring that's why you lose games with Orks.
No.
Yeah,
that's actually
exactly
not true. There
why
is a
you lose games
direct
with
correlation with how much screaming you do and your win rate, and it's a negative correlation.
It's once you're a good player, though, when you have a good player foundation, then it gets exponentially higher.
So
okay. What is Brian's Sipe one? His energy is down here. He is a solemn nerd.
You have to, what's it called? It's like reverse parabolic. Is that what it is?
Exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
I've got it.
So these top orc players, they need to start ramping up the energy.
I got it. We need to get it together.
If I was playing orcs, energy would be through the roof.
I actually believe that. I actually believe that you would actually yell at a WoW at a tournament.
I would.
Can you get an AdMech WoW?
I'm just yelling about call.
Okay, got it.
I'm yelling touchdown as call touches your home objective. All right. We're already way off tangent here, but that's what the orc tier list is going to be all about. We are going to talk about every single data sheet here and rank them overall from the strongest, most competitive options down to the ones that you probably have never seen before on the table because they are bad.
Yeah, so it's going to be S tier. These are going to be like really good units that can be played in almost every single detachment. We're going to have A tier, which are pretty good, but maybe only get really strong use in a specific place. B tier is like, they're technically useful, but it's kind of rare that you're really seeing this these days. C tier is going to be like perfectly fine, like maybe not optimal, but it's not like a bad base.
Doesn't actively hurt you.
Exactly. D is, it technically can do something.
Maybe that role is just really narrow, but like it fits into this one bad detachment. But if you're gonna play it, okay.
And then there's the pit, which is this unit should just never see the table.
It will actively harm your list, make your list worse, and you'll probably lose the game because you're running a bunch of pit nonsense.
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna fall into the pit yourself.
Orc data sheets have kind of a huge range of like, wow, this actually does something, to like, what were they doing when they wrote this? So it's gonna be fun to rake this one.
Also, as one of the older codexes at this point, orcs have several detachments where certain data sheets get significantly elevated by being in that specific detachment, whereas outside of that detachment, they might have less of a role.
And I'll highlight that as we kind of go on, because there's definitely certain units that are very much elevated because of that.
100%. So if you are joining us, if you love our tier list, please do give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and tell your friends about us. All of that massively helps us grow. In addition, if you want more orc content, if you want to see Michael not wah loudly on a stream game, you can check out theworm.vhx.tv. There's a 3-day free trial, and on top of that, you get access to our awesome international Discord community where there is an orc channel. I'll be wahing in there because I want to bring that level of energy for you. So come on over, check it out. There's a lot of top orc players, and they're always talking new ideas. And orcs are a pretty deep book, honestly.
They're actually a very deep book. We've been nerfed a bunch, but that's because we're so deep that they had to keep nerfing different builds. So.
yeah, they did. Just hitting them with the hammer.
It was like whack-a-mole throughout the year,
really
honestly.
was.
It's like, dang it, another broken orc detachment. Kill it, get it back
like,
down.
Grommet released a broken orc detachment. No, here's another one in the spring.
No, stop it.
It's always the Dakka.
Objective markers are essential to every game of Warhammer 40k, so why not try out the latest in objective marker technology for your own games? These objectives are significantly thinner than the neoprene markers you see at your local game store and tournaments, so it's very easy to put them under ruins and models. They feature minimalist and clear designs so that they blend into your existing terrain and mats. Functional, while removing the visual clutter to make your battlefields more immersive. The objective markers ship from the United Kingdom to the EU, US, and Australia. What are you waiting for? Try them out now.
All right, well, let's start breaking it down. We're just going to go alphabetical order.
We're going to follow it through the app. So if you have the app, pull it open. We're going to go through the data sheets in order, starting off with the humble Battlewagon. It is one of Michael's favorite tanks, and it is a big honkin' transport, and it can also, it's quite durable, honestly, with that armor of contempt and a good armor save. It can actually survive, unlike a truck. Against most things.
Yeah, trucks just die. I really like the Battlewagon for one, its transport capacity. It's an old 20G models, so it can be like a moving castle in a way. You have the ability to give it T12. Spoiler alert: you're always giving it T12. That's not like a real choice you have. And it has enough chaff guns that it actually does stuff, right? Especially since a lot of like the melee builds bring no guns unless you're bringing flash kits. That's kind of it. So the Battlewagon gives you staging ground, chaff guns, good weapons on it as well. It actually hits pretty decently in melee. It's T12 and has AOC and a 3-up armor save, so it's like ignores AP 1 and 2 in cover, which is
good tank shock.
Good tank shock as well, right? Like it just does a little bit of everything to me. The only reason that I'm going to put this model in A tier and genuinely not S tier is purely because the size of the model is sometimes a problem.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just too big. It can get stuck in certain places. On certain maps, it's very difficult to maneuver around. I find on GW terrain in particular, you can run one Battlewagon, but you can't run two. And then you don't always need one because depending on the rest of your list, you might just not have space for it to run around and so on and so on. But a Battlewagon's price point is just 2 trucks plus 20 points.
Which is not bad at all for how much more durable it is.
Yeah, it's like really not a bad deal at the end of the day. So I like it a lot.
Another bonus it got right is the change to Gaz's transport capacity, which allows, you know, an additional bit of space in there.
100%,
which
yes.
previously didn't happen.
Yeah, so Gaz used to just like functionally not really be able to go into this. But now he just takes up 4 slots, even with a hard case. So you can be T12, take Ghazghkull in it. Really useful.
Yeah. Moving on next, we have the Beastboss, who is actually seen quite a bit in competitive lists. He usually is going to lead those Beast Snagga boys, and there's a variety of enhancements that could go on this character. But he is something that looks at monsters and vehicles and says, I'm going to put a lot of damage on you.
Yeah, this guy's a bit nuts, honestly. So
he's 80 points, right? He's like
about 80
cheap.
points. He's moved up, he's been lower, he's been higher throughout the edition, but he's sitting at 80 points right now. So there's a couple things to note about this guy. He has a symbiotic relationship with his Beast Snagga boys. Beast Snagga boys give him reroll hits, and then he gives them +1 to hit. So this is like a huge hit bonus out of these 2 activations. And then whenever the Beast Boss charges, he gains devastating wounds, and all his melee weapons are anti-vehicle, anti-monster 4-up. So he just does devastating wounds to every vehicle monster in the game. There's some like very potent combos that you can use on this guy. So in Warhorde, you can give him crit 5s. So he's crit 5 sustained, you reroll all your hits. I have genuinely one-shot a Rogaldorn just using a Beast Boss.
It's happened to me.
Right?
Almost one-shot a land for it.
Yeah, it does some obscene damage when it like really slams. The Beast Snagga detachment itself, you can have a 3 damage guy. You can have ones that reroll lethals. He just takes every buff and just goes crazy. I personally have this guy in S tier, to be honest with you. I think he's playable in almost every single detachment, even the detachments that don't buff him, because he just doesn't need buffs to be good. He just needs his Beast Snagga boys to reroll hits and give them +1 to hit, and then he just has to charge, and he's done everything he has to do. You can make him crazy, but he's just good everywhere.
The great thing is he's one of those type of characters where the character can go into something more durable by himself. The rest of the unit goes in and clears a chaff unit or whatever's holding the objective. 100%. And then bam, 2 things dead. You take control of the objective. You got plenty of OC. Just a really good trade resource. This is one of the first things that comes out of trucks.
Yeah, I love the Beast Boss. I include him in tons and tons of lists. And it's only very recently that I've kind of started to slim down on him, but it's been a staple for me throughout the edition.
Don't be slimming down on the Beast Boss, Michael.
I know.
You can't. Don't be cutting that out of your diet. Cut the battle wagons
The sweet
out.
siren song of the Flash gets called to me.
All right. Speaking of which, we have another version of the Beast Boss. This is the Squigosaur version, which isn't quite seen as much as it used to be. You used to see multiple of these and Mozrog all together, being durable, being annoying. But nowadays, I think that you mostly see this in the specific Beast Snagga detachment.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I really haven't seen it. So tell us about the Squigosaur, man.
Yeah, so he doesn't give +1 to hit to his unit. Instead, he gives +1 to charge, and he can heroic for 0 CP. Even if somebody already heroicked.
A lot less good.
Yeah, this is a lot less good. He's toughness 8, 3-up armor, 5-up invul, and 5-up feel no pain. That is like a durable stat line, right? And I don't hate that by any means. But Squighog Boyz aren't great because they're all AP1, and he's also AP1, and he's really, really big.
He's really big. The unit itself is massive. Every time I've seen the unit, whether it's the smaller version plus the character or the large version of the unit plus the character, it takes up an infinite amount of space. You just cannot hide this. It is getting shot. It isn't durable enough to just survive against the tankiest damage, and it really needs the WA to survive. Well, if you're using it to keep yourself alive, then you're not using it offensively.
Yeah, because a Squighog Boy is T7 with a 4-up armor save and a 5-up feel no pain. And if that gets seen, it's just dead.
It's just gone.
It's just gone. And then this guy doesn't function strongly enough as a character by himself. Like, for instance, if a Beast Boss on Squigosaur charges into something, the guy on foot is going to do more damage. And that's bad. That's bad. I have this guy all the way down in C tier because technically in the Squig detachment, he's really not that bad. He's perfectly fine in the Squig detachment.
Some good enhancements.
Has some good enhancements for him, as well as the Squighog Boyz themselves can get extra AP out of that detachment rule, right? So it gets a really strong use. So he's not quite in D tier. He's got a home in C tier.
But very niche case.
Yeah, very niche.
All right, moving on. Next, we have the Snagga Boyz themselves. These are the boys who are going to be led by the Beast Boss, and they're pretty much ever present, honestly.
Yeah, these guys are also great. So the difference between them and a regular boy is Snagga Boyz are always strength 5.
Big break point.
Big break point. And then they have that reroll hits against monster and vehicles, of course. And then they're OC2, and they have a 6-up Feel No Pain. So lots of like little tiny buffs that kind of go on these guys. Now, I will say the power Snappa is not as good as the power Claw, but whatever. There are some trade-offs at the end of the day. This plus the Beast Boss is just a great package, as we talked about before. If the Beast Boss is S tier, these guys are S tier as well, right? Because they hold hands always.
They hold hands. You almost see 1 to 2 of these packages in every single list. They're just a great early trade resource. How much more expensive are the Beast Snaggas versus regular boys?
Let's see. I think Beast Snagga Boyz are 95, and then regular boys are 80, 85 right now. They got nerfed recently, so I think it's 85 on them right now.
So it's a 10 or 15 point difference. So
Yeah.
you pay a decent amount for the extra strength bracket, the better data sheet rule for offense, and also the 6 of Feel No Pain. But overall, I mean, these guys are fantastic. One
Just
of the best
super good.
like troop units in the game.
Yeah, having good battle line that's OC2 that just runs around and beats stuff up. I mean, I can't.
Some of the best battle line in the
All
game.
my praises, yeah. All my praises.
And then if you're playing a melee detachment, they get significantly better. Next up, we have a model that I have never seen in person. I've never seen on the table. I would laugh at somebody if they ran it. It is the Big Ed Bossbunka.
I have also never seen this.
This is
model
the
in my life.
fortification.
I don't own one. And
Do they still sell it?
I have to imagine they do, but I personally will never own one, more than likely. So what does it do, guys? Nothing. It technically gives you cover, has an aura of +1 leadership,
Huge.
and then if they're in combat with it, it can shoot.
It's a cool 135 points, by the way. A cool 135 points.
Yeah.
It's 5 points cheaper than 2 trucks. Or it's close to that.
Into the pit.
How? What did...
I don't know. I mean, they don't want fortifications to be good as the real answer, so
Yeah.
all the fortifications are terrible. Yeah. Just into the pit.
It is hilariously bad.
It does look cool. I will say it actually is a cool looking model. It just...
Well, you just have to put your boss in the bunka.
I need to put my Beast Boss in.
You have to put Beast Boss in the bunka. Yeah, this thing is garbage. Unfortunately, it will actively make your list worse. It does literally nothing. Next up, Big Mek. So this is the regular Big Mek, no special fixins. This is the guy who, if you want to have some extra mobility on your boys units, especially those big 20-mans that don't really like getting move blocked, gives you that extra mobility to go through models. And we've seen that from some of the top players running the more horde-oriented version of the boys spam.
Yep. It also gives you real advances.
Reroll advances,
reroll advances now,
just
yeah.
mobility out the wazoo.
Yeah, so this guy's really cool. So the big combo you're seeing him in right now is in Warhort, where you give him the +2 move enhancement, and then you attach him to the Gaz 20-man boys unit, and then you also use the stratagem, here we go, for +2 advance and +2 charge. Functionally, this unit is +6 to move, and then it can reroll advances, move through models, move through terrain, and it just teleports essentially to your opponent's side of the table. This guy is great. He also had some interesting uses back when like Boomdakka was cool, where because you could reroll advances. He was a mech. All mechs also have the ability for their unit to reroll 1s to hit and shooting. This just doesn't really come up for what his current use is for, of course.
You want
However,
them choppas.
yeah, it's like sometimes you shoot Ghazghkull's gun, you're like, oh yeah, I can roll hit rolls 1, and that's cool. And then he also has a really good melee weapon, the Drilla. It's strength 12, 3 damage.
Damn, that's rare profile.
Yeah, it's really, really nice. It's very rare for an orc to get that profile. So I have nothing but good things to say about him. I think he belongs in A tier myself because he's just good. It's cheap. If the other detachments weren't like so nerfed, you honestly would see him a lot more.
What do you think of Green Tide?
In Green Tide, you really see the Pain Boys, really. So this guy, he used to be a little play in Brigade. Like you could throw him with some Ludas, and that was like a good place to put him. You could put him in Boomdakka, and that was an interesting place to see him. And then Speed Freaks, buffing some of the other shooting units you could bring was also like kind of an interesting place you could see him. He also going to attach to Mek Gunz, right? And sometimes you like attach him Mek Gunz, give the Mek Gunz rerolls, get them the mech keyword.
Dude,
plus
you can
the
attach to
enhancement.
Mek Gunz? What is this?
So mechs can just like attach to anything that's like remotely orky vehicle looking, right?
Killa Kans?
No, so Killa Kans, the walkers don't get leaders.
Okay.
But all the like the regular little vehicles and stuff like that. So yeah, I like this guy a lot. I don't really have anything bad to say about him. He's just good.
Yeah, he's competitive. He can fit in multiple archetypes, and he makes, if you want to run big boys units, which can be a very good archetype, he's one of the best characters to lead them.
100%.
Then we have the Big Mek in Mega Armour. This man is predominantly seen in the Tactical Brigade list, where you have the Mech Captain enhancement to allow him to lead flash gits and let them do all the nasty things like get 4-up invuln, heal back models. This guy's pretty damn good in that detachment. I haven't seen him too much elsewhere. How are you feeling about him?
So the Big Mek in Mega Armour, so his actual abilities, he has a 4-up invuln and shooting, and then he resurrects a guy in the command phase, and then 1 movement phase per game, he can heal D3 wounds, which is adorable. I like him really a lot in Brigade. The flash git unit with him is genuinely incredible, right? It has 4-up invuln and shooting, it's overwatchable, it gives him reroll hits, super, super good. He does have some play in Bully Boys. So instead of taking War Bosses in Mega Armor, some people take these with their Mega Knobs. So they can resurrect Mega Knobs as the game goes on, give them a 4-up invuln and shooting in case you don't want to use that AOC strat, which is like a genuinely good use, right? If you're interested in that. It's something I haven't experimented with too much, but maybe I honestly should look at it a little bit more seriously. It's just kind of cool. I think I have him in a cool B tier.
Yeah, I think he's straight up S tier in Tactical Brigade because of the Mech Captain enhancement. Yeah. But outside of that, him as a data sheet, he's a good character. Not essential, but a good character, and he gives you options.
Yep, there's plenty of uses for him that are good and correct, and you're not wrong in ordering to want to bring him. So I think that's a nice B tier unit.
Next up, we have the Big Mek with Shokk Attack Gun. This used to be taken in 3 of them in the Tank Bustas, in your Tactical Brigade, and then you had Boomdakka. They were seen all over in that list. It is the shootiest of the Big Meks and brings a 60-inch range. I'm going to do potentially significant amounts of damage to you just by myself type of weapon. Sometimes it doesn't do very much, but the high potential is what you're paying for.
The Casino Cannon, we just all find out what it does, right? So
and your opponent is just clenched. They're like, "Oh god, this could be."
So it's strength
damage.
9, AP 4, D6 damage, D6 plus 1 blast shots. Once per game, he can reroll those number of shots. This is the purest of Casino Cannon. So in Brigade, it's really nice because you can give him +1 to hit. So he hits on 4s. He has the mech ability roll 1s, just like everybody else, right? So it can be hitting on 4s, roll 1s, which is really not a bad.
Oh, it's a good one.
With Tank Bustas, you can also be functionally +2 to hit, because they have their own little data sheet ability we'll talk about later. So you can get around smoke screens, you can get around strats. Generally, if you're taking some kind of Tank Busta, this guy should be coming along because he's just that good. So right now, this guy's sitting at 80 points, which is great. He used to be 65, which is really cheap, and I like that a lot. So those days are gone. So I think he's in B tier at the moment.
Really?
So the issue is that Brigade's strength has really waned over time. That army has taken a lot of points nerfs.
Okay, you were just talking about how awesome flash gits were.
Yeah, they are. I love them. I run the flash gits in Warhorde now.
Run them in Tactical Brigade.
Yeah, you also run them in Tactical Brigade.
Yeah.
You run them everywhere.
Tactical Brigade is good. You're a hater.
I'm not a hater. It's just perfectly fine. The problem is that the shooting packages are just so expensive now.
Yeah, they're swingy.
They have really pointed them up to oblivion, and they're swingy, right? So
there's a game we played, Votann versus your Orks Tactical Brigade. And in that game, I exposed not vehicles to Michael. And Tank Bustas have to kill the elite infantry units.
They have to. That's the only thing in my army that does.
They're supposed to kill that type of stuff. And when you throw a -1 to wound in there, it gets very inconsistent what type of damage they're going to do.
So the profiles just aren't lining up as well as they used to anymore. There's some issues with it, as well as you're not really seeing the other friend shooting detachments anymore. So you're not seeing the Boomdakkas, you're not seeing the Dread mobs, where this guy's really being seen.
Honestly, Tactical Brigade is relatively hurt by the lack of knights in the current meta.
That's also true. That was a very strong matchup for them, right? So to me, Warhore's really supreme, and then you can technically run Tank Busters with him, but you don't bring the Big Mek with Shokk Attack Gun in that detachment. So relatively, he's fine. He's a fine character at the moment. At later times in the meta, when he's really strong, he's absolutely an S tier character. He's just not there right now.
All right,
I think he's just fine right now.
Fair. He is good, but not quite the essential pick that you would have previously.
No, 100%.
Then we have the Blitza-Bommer, which I have no idea what this does. I have not seen an Orc Flyer since 9th edition. Thank you, Games Workshop.
Yeah, so all you need to know about the Orc Flyers is they're all useless. They all don't do anything. I did spiral at one point because I was really working on my speed freaks, and the planes have the speed freak keyword. Notably,
are they freaks enough?
Advance and charge and fall back and charge does not matter on a plane. Because they just technically do that anyway, in a way. Yeah, just did the pit. All of the planes are in the pit.
Aww.
Just put all of them there.
They look cool.
Right now. Just
They're
move every plane into the pit.
Planes. You don't even know how they fly.
Don't even have ramshackle. They took that all away from us.
All right, next up we have the Boomdakka Snazzwagon. This is one of Michael's favorites of the buggies.
I do, yeah.
It's mostly because of the name.
So has an aura, -1 to hit. It also has the Mek special gun, which is 12 shots base, 5-1-1 sustained, and then rapid fire 4. So it can be 16 shots, which is like actually a lot of guns. So
For an orc.
For an orc, that does a lot of guns. What I like about this guy is he can, specifically in the context of speed freaks, that's how I'm going to evaluate all these guys, is he can be very fast, get that -1 to hit aura moving around. He can clear chaff really well, block a bunch of space. Just a good buggy. I also like that in other detachments, he sometimes gets played for that -1 to hit aura. Occasionally Green Tide will take him. Occasionally Bully Boys will take him. Anytime you're trying to skew into the toughness of orcs, which is mostly fake, but technically exists, this guy can be seen. So I have him in a cool C tier.
All right, moving on from the beloved Boomdakka Snazzwagon, we have Boss Snikrot.
I love this guy.
He gained a points decrease, right?
Yes, big points decrease because he was 95 and it made me angry.
He was very expensive for a once per game teleport / OK combat.
Yep. So now he's 75 points. He has that once per game uppy downy, which is great. And he has the best version of it because you do it in your movement phase and come down immediately. So you get perfect information on how the rest of your movement phase goes.
Yep.
You also get to see secondary cards. It's just so good. What I really like using him for is sitting on my natural expansion as a lone op sometimes. Sometimes he screens the back corner and then later teleports for points. The big thing is he always scores points. Always. 75 point lone op. To me, this is comparable to the Combi Lieutenant, just without a reactive move. He's always just going to be annoying. He's going to be a lone op sitting on objective. He's going to score points. Mine just teleports instead. And then occasionally he gets to knife something because the Combi Lieutenant doesn't actually do real damage. But Boss Snikrot has 6 attacks at 6-1-2 twin linked. Not bad.
He's not bad at all. You throw him in Warhorde, he gets a little bit of offense from it. He can't kill Hearthguard for his life, but that's okay.
No. He also has every keyword in the game. So he has smoke, grenades, stealth, lone op.
That's all useful.
Just like everything. Yeah.
So where do you think he's going to fit? I've seen him a lot recently.
I currently have him in A tier. He's not like in every single orc list. However, I think he should be in a lot of orc lists.
Because when you look at it, for very few additional points, you can get an entire boy squad. And that's a lot. Or you could try and go grab 2 more Gretchin squads. So he has quite a bit of competition for his price point.
Yeah, lots of competition for the price point. So it kind of depends on the context of your list. And also his play style. I personally play with like him a lot. And so I know, or I'm very familiar with his play pattern. So I'm a big fan of it. So I'm just a big fan.
Next up, we have a regular boys. Old-fashioned boys. They sticky objectives. You're going to always have at least 1 unit of them. But they could also be run in big old squads with Gaz, with some of the characters that we've mentioned that can buff them, and they can do a lot of damage near Gaz, in Warhorde, sustained. You get the crit 5s. They can tear down much tougher targets with billion attacks.
Yeah, boys to me are a solid S tier. They're just like Snagga Boys in terms of how useful they are. These guys just, instead of, like, they technically do a lot of damage, right? Because when in the Gaz unit, they're crit 5 sustained, lethal, +1 to hit, +1 to wound, which is obviously bananas. Like that's a crazy amount of buffs.
If you get hit by that, you're gone.
Their baseline is also fine. For 85 points, you can have a Power Claw and then 9 Choppas that just run in and trade onto an objective with OC2. And if they don't shoot you off of it, you stick it and keep going. They have infinite uses. They can stick your home field and then screen. They can go in a truck and like go up with a war boss. They can go in 20 mans. They're great.
They're honestly one of the best battle line. Orcs have some of the best battle line units in the entire game, which fits because they're supposed to be the core of the army. But if you look at this unit versus like 5 intercessors, which is a solid battle line unit, I would always take the boys first. I get the sticky, I get more bodies, I get a bunch of attacks, I can actually do combat damage. Yeah.
I think almost every army in the game would take boys if they could. Right, because that's like a real thing.
Tau would 100% take boys. Then we have Breaka Boyz. These guys came out about a year ago, and they were a mainstay in Tactical Brigade for a bit in a mortal spam version where you have the tank bus to throw in mortals, you got these guys throwing mortals, you got your grenades and all that stuff. They haven't been seen quite as much since then. No, so Breaka Boyz are a little polarizing, to be honest with you. So they're 2 attacks base, anti-monster, anti-vehicle, 4 up, 3 damage, AP2, strength 6, which is kind of an awkward number. In the wild, you get a strength 7, which hits a lot of breakpoints, which is nice. So the bomb squigs have been nerfed since then. So they used to be 2 up.
12 inches, no line of sight needed. You just do whatever you wanted. Now they're 3 up, you need line of sight, which is actually a pretty big increase on terms of how much it fails. So 2 attack space is rough.
Yeah, you have to be in the wall.
You can't run these in a not melee detachment because without any buffs, it's kind of bad. But they are 140 points in the wall for like 18 3 damaged attacks on any sponsored vehicle. And that's pretty good, right? That's not bad. The issue is that like for Bully Boys, they'd have to have a War Boss, and they're taking up a precious War Boss slot and using on Breaka Boyz. In War Horde, I currently like running them just as 140 points, 6 guys. I actually do have them on my list at the moment, and I've been fine with them, like doing what they need to do. The Gaz version is just, of course, a little bit different, so you can skimp in a little places. I have them in B tier. They're not like a bad data sheet. They're just, I'm not frothing at the mouth to get them in the list, but they have a use.
You're not spamming them anymore.
100%. Yeah.
It feels like Orks have a bunch of units that are relatively similar, all around a similar price point. So you have these, the Breaka Boyz, you've got the Knobs as another version of an elite hitter.
Yep.
And then you have Boss plus the either Snagga Boyz if it's a Beast Boss, or the War Boss plus the Boys as trade resources.
And the
like
Mega Knobs.
which one do you go for? Yeah, and Mega Knobs.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of competition, and which one you go for is often the detachment and then your play style.
100%.
Next up, we have another flyer. It is the Burna-Bommer.
Into the pit.
It's not burning enough for you?
Dude, it doesn't burn anything. None of the planes burn anything, shoot anything.
All right, how about Burna Boyz then?
I like Burna Boyz. So these guys are actually pretty nice for just 5 little guys. They have 4 flamers, and then 1, you can take a custom Mega Blaster or a rocket. They have their rule is if you're within 6 inches, you roll wound rolls of 1. If you're on an objective marker and within 6 inches of them, they rule all their wounds, which adds up kind of a lot.
Yep.
They also have a very unique melee profile. All the guys who have the Burnas have a strength 4, AP 2 for 1 attack, hitting on 4s, 2 attack space. In the wall, that's strength 5, AP 2 for 1, 3 attacks, which is like, it's like a power weapon, right? That's actually not bad. So I like them a lot for 60 points.
Yeah, 60 points is dirt cheap.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Whenever, this is my favorite trash unit to bring over, like, I like them more than Ludas. Whenever I'm trying to fill out a transport, I really want to get Burna Boyz, because it's also just a truck driving up and it's like, here's my 46 flamer shots. That's like an Eldar player's worst nightmare, right? Like they hate that. So I think I have them in B tier. Like they're just useful,
Yeah, I
right?
think they're one of the better skirmishers. There's a lot of competition once again because you have things like Storm Boys or you have the Ludas or some of the other options. But this is a pretty darn good one.
Just good.
It beats up other opponent skirmishers quite well. Then we move on to the other flyer, the Dakkajet.
This one's the most in the pit. This is the deepest pit.
It doesn't bring enough Dakka for
It
you?
doesn't have like a cool ability. It just has a bunch of shooters, which are not
Famously known for doing damage.
which are not very good.
Oh, sorry, Dakkajet. You do look cool. Deff Dread, a vehicle that I have not seen in quite a while.
So this vehicle has my heart, but it does not have me on the table. So it did recently get a buff. It now does the Brutalis Dreadnought charge rule for mortals.
Oh, so charge mortals.
Yeah, which is not bad. So you can do a tank shock plus the, it's like on a 2-up, you take D3, 4 through 5, it's like D3 plus 3 or something along those lines. It's fine. It has claws, which are not a bad profile. It's 12, 2, 3.
That's not bad.
3 attack space, and then every army bring you get another one. And then in the wall, you get another one. So you can just have like a 9 attack Deff Dread walking around with like a bunch of attacks. The problem is he's T9, 2-up armor. So he has like the box Dread durability, not a real Dreadnought's durability. And he moves 8 inches.
T9 versus T10 is huge.
It's a really big difference. And he's only OC3, which means he kind of gets out OC'd pretty easily.
Like a Ghost Kill for Tau. It's just, he's going to get out.
Technically, Dreadmob's the best place you can put this guy, but even then, he doesn't really
Very
do much.
move blockable.
Yeah, he just kind of exists. I want him to be good. I really like Deff Dreads. They're so cool. Like, I love Deff Dreads.
You basically have to rapid this guy in to attack a point, and then he's hitting a screen.
Yeah.
It's really hard to connect on something valuable.
Really hard to collect on something valuable, and then sometimes he just kind of bounces because he's also AP2, so he's really vulnerable to AOC at the same time. So
That's for sure.
there is a really fun one you can run at Dreadmob where you give him 4 custom Mega Blastas, and then you give him the reroll hits plus the button itself, and then he's just like, here's my 12 attacks with a mech, give him +1 to hit, reroll all your hits, sustain lethal, and then on average he does explode himself from the hazards.
Did you take him in your list last year at Worlds?
No, I didn't. I didn't have him. I tested him though.
Where do you think he's going to fit here?
D tier.
D tier.
He's not in the pit.
Sad.
Because technically you can play him in Dread Mob, but he's pretty bad.
He's pretty bad. Yeah. You have to be able to connect your melee units into your opponent's targets that it should kill.
Yeah.
And this is really hard to do with him. Deffkilla Wartrike. This is a guy you like quite a bit, especially in Speed Freaks.
Yeah, I really like him in Speed Freaks. So his thing is auto advance 6 for bikers, which is really quite nice. He has 9 wounds, which is a very big number. T6 as well on this guy. Has a melt a shot, a good flamer, and then the Dakkajet gun shots. His melee is rather pathetic, to be honest with you. He's 4 attacks at 10-2-2, hitting on 3s, which is not great. And he also gets +1 to hit in melee for his biker unit. So lots of just like really good stuff. So in Speed Freaks, this guy goes crazy, right? Like you can just zoom around the board, take a bunch of space. The strats are really good on him because you can give him +1 to wound in melee. You can give him crit 5 lethals. You can give him sustained. Just really nice. I think I'm going to put him in B tier, right?
B tier.
Because when he's good, he's good. And he also has some cool uses in Warhorde where you give him the 4-up Feel No Pain. Because what's actually kind of neat about him is he doesn't need to be leading for the auto advance 6.
So he can always just yeet out there.
He can always go 18 inches, and having that on a 9 wound for Feel No Pain model is actually pretty good.
What's his OC?
He's OC3, which is not a bad number.
Yeah, your opponent puts a transport on there, boom, contested.
So he has lots of good uses. I also really want to mess with him in Bully Boys. If we still had knob bikers, I think he'd actually be like a really good Bully Boys unit, but they took away knob bikers from us. So I think he's just fine in B tier. He's just good.
He's just good.
He's just good.
Next up, we have the Deffkoptas. Now, we were just mentioning Speed Freaks. This is probably the premier unit in Speed Freaks.
Absolutely the premier Speed Freak unit. They take all of the strats really well. They abuse the detachment rule itself really quite well because they punch with volume in melee, not with quality, but they punch with enough volume. And then all the rockets love sus too. They love crit 5 lethals. The rockets are twin linked. They're very fast on the field. They take rapid ingressing and then advance and shooting and charging really quite well. They're 4 wounds each.
4-up invuln them.
You can 4-up invuln them as well for 1 CP because they technically have the vehicle keyword, which is quite cool. I love everything about the Deffkopta. Deffkoptas also get some fringe play in other detachments. I've seen other Ork players pilot that to success at some GT wins where they just take in Brigade. They'll just have like some MSU Deffkoptas, or even like in Warhorde, I've seen MSU Deffkoptas. I'm personally not a big fan of it, but I also haven't played it technically. So I think they're fine in B tier. I think they actually have like, this is like actually like a decent data sheet. It's pretty narrow on where you're going to use it.
Yeah, in Speed Freaks, it's straight up S tier.
Straight up S
Outside
tier
of
in
that,
Speed Freaks.
you can think about using them as a skirmish piece, but usually you'll go more infantry based instead. But this, honestly, it's a sleeper pick. I think
sleeper for sure.
I think a lot of people haven't put it on the table in a bit, or haven't even tried out Speed Freaks. But you were seriously considering playing it at Challengers.
I really was. If that data slate hadn't gone live, I was playing it.
All right, next up we have the Flash Gitz, one of the premier Ork shooting units, and probably the best one, honestly.
Yeah, so Flash Gits are just kind of good at everything. So they're a T5 knob body, which is a 4-up armor and 2 wounds. The Snaz gun is 612. Not rapid fire. Oh yeah, not rapid fire. It's just if you shoot the closest target, you get an extra shot. So it goes up to 4 shots. They have sustained 1 natively. Also in melee, they're 4 attacks base at 511. So in the wall, there were 5 attacks a model at 611, which is
there was
really
a game
good.
where Jack killed the Silent King in combat because I failed 1 billion saves, but he gave me 1 billion saves. It was insane.
Because the Flash Gits?
Yeah, from Flash Gits. Flash Gits killed me in combat.
That's actually crazy. They just are good all around. They're good as 5-mans, right? Just saying, hey, here's my 5 Flash Gits that trade into objective because they can shoot and charge. They fill out trucks really well. The 10-man in the Brigade is great. I'm currently running 10-mans in Warhorde just as like good chaff clears instead of Snagga Boys.
You got to clear screens, otherwise you hit the screens with your key units.
Yeah, that's terrible. I love these guys a lot. I think this is a slam dunk S tier. They're just good.
Yep. Easily one of the best data sheets out there.
One of the best data sheets in Orks. This is like an actual good data sheet, which is a rare thing for an Ork to have. Yeah.
It's just good. It can be in any circumstance. MSU, big squad, buffed, not buffed. It's a role that Orks need clearing chaff, and it's the best in class. All right, then we come up with Mr. Ghazghkull Thraka, who received several buffs in the September update to make him significantly more playable, and he has started to hit the table.
Yeah, so now he can lead boys and knobs. He used to just lead mega knobs. So he used to just run him. I was running him a Warhorde with just 2 mega knobs, and I was having perfectly fine success with him, but it's not nearly the same as attaching him to 20 boys with a big mech plus 2 move. He can also go in Battlewagons now, which for other detachments like Bully Boys, you kind of like that a lot. Because you still kind of usually put him with Mega Knobs and Bully Boys, or you can stick him with Knobs, or kind of depends on really what you want to do with him. he just has so much more playability now. Before he had like a very narrow use. It's like, okay, take him in Warhorde, stick your 2 Mega Knobs on him, give him the buff, let him go out and do his thing. But now he's like my god hammer.
Yes.
I just send out Gaz and 20 boys. They're gonna flip every objective. He has an extra blade of wounds. It's gonna kill anything it touches. It's so much faster. I mean, this unit is genuinely nuts.
Being able to put the Big Mech in there. Oof.
Yeah, it's so genuinely an insane unit. S tier, I will never leave home without Gaz and 20 boys right now. I will not do it.
In all the archetypes?
I don't know about all the archetypes. I haven't tested in Bully Boys yet, but I'm interested in it. But in Warhorde in particular, I'm never leaving home without it.
Tactical?
I have tested it in Tactical. I think I like him more with knobs in Tactical.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there's still a reason to run him specifically.
Oh yeah, if you told me that you're like gonna run Gaz and 20 boys in Tactical, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense, right? I wouldn't disagree with you.
Yeah, you show up. You play against Necrons, for instance. They have the 20 warrior brick. You're like, cool.
Yep, goodbye. Yep,
goodbye. Just done.
Because what's nice about Tactical is it has the 1 CP sustained in melee or sustained or lethal, and then he gives lethals with Makari and the aura, so you can just have the exact same Warhorde unit, just a lot slower, which is a big difference, but it technically exists.
Yeah. Next up, we have the Gorkanaut. The famous Gorkanaut, which I have never seen on the table.
Yeah, so personally. The Morkanaut is playable. The Gorkanaut is not. is the big difference.
What is the key difference here?
So the Gorkanaut has the Death Storm Mega Cannon, which is going to be like 30 shots at 611 or 51. I think it's 611. And he has 1 extra attack in melee. And he doesn't have any custom Mega Blasts, I think. I think he just has Scorches.
So it's just a volume of attacks that you would get with your melee profiles.
Yeah, he's a cheap knight that hits on 5s. That is the best way you can put him. This is just... Actually, I think this guy's the pit. The Morkanaut has real play. The Gorkanaut... You should always take a Morkanaut over a Gork
is sad.
Gork is sad. Mork is not sad. Mork is not sad.
All right, straight to the pit, Gorkanaut. I'm sorry, you look cool, but you are trying to replicate what the army already does, which is put out volume of like strength 5, strength 6.
But poorly.
AP1 attacks. Next up, we have the Gretchin. And Gretchin, in my opinion, are one of the best trash units in the entire game.
Yes. So not default battle line. They're battle line and dread mob, which is neat. They're OC2.
But they're OC2 anyway.
And on a 4-up, they get you CP.
This is a 40-point, 11-body unit.
One of the few ways in Orks to get extra CP. We actually don't have a lot of CP manipulation. These guys are amazing. They can go in trucks. You can put 20 of them with Zodgrod, which is also an amazing unit. You should... A unit of Gretchin is in every single list. Mm-hmm. It's just in every single list. If you didn't bring one, you're wrong. Put them in your list. S tier. They're just good.
You should have multiple units, honestly, because you can screen your backfield for 80 points with 2 11 model units. You can have the Zodgrod unit that gets into the middle and then screens your opponent's entire army and contests all their objectives. Mm-hmm. And does damage if you wanted to. You could also just simply have extra, like you're playing combat matchup. Well, here's 10 Gretchin in front of my combat units. What do you want to trade to kill these bodies?
Mm-hmm. And sometimes if you're on the offensive, you can wrap transports. You can tag people to stop heroics. Mm-hmm. Like it just, fun fact, the lion does not kill 10 Gretchin and a rot herd in the wall. You can tie up the lion with 10
You can tie up almost anything. It's crazy.
It's super nice.
These just little annoying dudes. So this is honestly one of the best units in the game.
Up 100%. Love Gretchin.
So straight up S tier, auto take. You're going to run some combination of them for sure. Hunta Rig, on the other hand, is a vehicle that I have never seen on the table.
Yeah, so what the Hunta Rig does that the Kill Rig doesn't is higher transport capacity. And then you can reroll the get out test when the vehicle dies. It doesn't have the Whir Tower either that the Kill Rig does, which is the las cannon that auto hits, which is notably a very big part of why you would take a Kill Rig. I don't think you should ever run a Hunta Rig. I think if you're going to run something like this, you are always running the Kill Rig. Always. And even then, you're going to find out I don't have a very high opinion of that model either. So this is straight to the pit.
Do you just run a Battlewagon if you're looking for the transport capacity?
So the Beast Snagga detachment doesn't hate the Kill Rig, to be honest with you, and
the Hunta Rig.
The Kill Rig, or sorry, yes, the Hunta Rig. You would always run a Battlewagon over a Hunta Rig, always. There would be no reason to run a Hunta Rig over a Battlewagon.
Oh, sad.
Also, it only holds 21, not 22, which is actually a very bad number because
You want
if you
that
could,
second character.
yes. So if you could put a 20 Snagga Boyz and like Snagga Boyz don't get 2 characters. They don't get that rule. But if you could took a Beast Boss and 10 Beast Boys and then a Beast Boss and 10 Beast Boys into a Hunta Rig, that would actually be kind of interesting. But even then, actually, I think you would just do that in Battlewagon. So yeah, no, this is just bad.
This is 135. It's the cost of slightly under. It's the cost of about 2 trucks.
I'll pay 25 points for a Battlewagon.
All right, Killa Kans, a unit I also have not seen really outside of the Dread Mob.
Yeah, it's really just Dread Mob. So they get all of the cool buffs in Dread Mob, right? So you can make them reroll hits. You can do +1 to wound, +1 to damage, sustained
So
or
all the rockets.
Yeah, sustained or lethal or +2 AP is all good on them. And then their mini button actually recently got a little bit better. So it used to be on a 1 or a 2, you took D6 mortals, so you could just kill a Killa Kan off the rip. Instead, now it's only D3, so you never kill a Killa Kan off the rip. And you can either get an extra shot or an extra strength on your guns, which are actually good buffs. Yeah. Those are like actually really good. I like them in Dread Mob myself. They take the buffs pretty good. They can run around and punch pretty decently. Their can claws and melee are not bad. They're also 3 damage. This is a unit that only sees play in Dread Mob. Like only see plays in Dread Mob, and that is the only reason they're not in the pit. It saves them. They scrape up to D tier because even in Dread Mob, I don't even think they're the optimal choice anymore. They used to be, but not anymore.
I think Games Workshop has been slacking here. They need to create a Gretchin detachment.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
A Gretchin.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Bring back all those weird zany Forge World units. All right, next up we have the famous Kill Rig, which is the one that was compared to the Hunta Rig. And you said it's significantly better.
It is, but I still hate it, to be clear. So what the Kill Rig does, it has an auto-hitting las cannon, which is not bad. That is cool. It's D3 shots, torrent, strength 12. I think it's AP3, D6 damage. That's cool, right? It also has a special power it can cast, where you can give +1 strength to a unit, which is a notable breakpoint. I will say that's actually not a bad breakpoint. And if you hit the 6, you also give them lethals. So this has some specific uses that's actually not too bad. In the Snagga detachment specifically, you can bump the AP on all of the weapons on this, and that makes it actually a pretty good vehicle in combat. So I take 3 of these in the Snagga detachment. And any other detachment, I have flirted with the idea of 1, like taking just a guy that can give me a buff and is like a big tough thing that runs around, has like some las cannons and stuff. But I've never been sold. He's between C and D. I don't know where though.
Is the downside really that the model itself is very large and hard to maneuver?
So that's another big downside is he's very large and hard to maneuver, but he's also really squishy. So it's just a 3-up armor, T10, 16 wounds with 6-up feel no pain, which that sounds tough, but it is not because it dies to the first 4 Melta guns or 3 las cannons that shoot at it. So this guy disappears off the face of the planet. You can't stage him, right? He's huge. So he needs to be tougher. Like, for instance, you can take a Battlewagon because that's tough because it has AOC. It's T12, right? I think it's D.
Oh,
I think it's D.
Oh, the Kill Rig's so cool looking.
I love Kill Rigs. Actually, Kill Rigs are a fun fact of the reason I got into Orks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they are.
So then you're such a hater.
I am a hater. When the Snagga stuff came out, I was like, that stuff is so cool. And then I got into Orks after that.
All right, moving on through the Ks, we've got Kommandos, who received a huge upgrade in the September data slate in which they can combat squad without needing any vehicle, which is pretty unique in the game. Most units require you having some sort of vehicle that allows the unit to split up. But you can just take 10 and they become 2 5-mans, which is amazing value.
So you can evaluate these as 60.5 man infiltrators, essentially, which is amazing.
Like best in class.
Yeah, like that's truly, truly incredible. The only reason I'm not going to put these guys in S tier, I'm going to put them in A tier, is that they're competing with a lot of other units in that space, specifically with Storm Boys. It is kind of difficult to pay the 120 points in some cases to get these Kommandos in. I fight tooth and nail to try and get them in. However, I have found that in order to reach my critical mass of whether that's melee or other trash pieces like Storm Boys I have to fill out, that I have to cut the Kommandos.
Are you not finding that the value of having an infiltrator stops a jail-centric army from locking you in your deployment zone?
So there's not a lot of jail armies running around, is the real answer. Like, there's not
Says the guy running Stormlance.
Okay, I am running Stormlance. But, like, if I had 5 Kommandos against Stormlance, what would they do? Real question, what would they actually do for me?
They'd at least take up the... So you go first, you can just block them between layout 1.
Yeah, but as the Stormwinds player, I've discovered I really don't care when people do that. Like, I don't care.
It
I don't
takes
care
a whole
at all.
turn off of them getting to the objectives.
Just don't care. I'm sorry. I
think it's valuable.
Like, every time I go second and somebody like puts 5 dudes in front of me, I'm like, cool. I'm still coming.
That's because you don't have guns. But when my AdMech army does it, then you're going to be sad.
It's gonna be fine. I just keep trucking, dude. Look,
I think they're really valuable for being able to just take a turn.
no, I do. I agree. I like them a lot. That's why I say I want them in every list. But the problem is that, so honestly, when you look at orcs as like an army, you're gonna like look at certain things, and be like, wow, that seems really good. Like, I really want to put this in every list. But orcs are pointed like they have real data sheets, but they don't.
Dude, Grey Knights would literally
Like-
kill. They would chop off both your hands to grab this unit, to have two 60-point infiltrate units.
No, I agree, but you have different problems than an orc does.
Yes.
I already have mass, right? I already do that. Because, for instance, Storm Boys always advance and charge, right? They can zoom up across the battlefield. They can go through walls. They have the fly keyword, so they can jump stuff. And it's the same points cost, right? I really like Kommandos. I think they're in A tier, though, because I don't think they go in every single list. But I think they should go in almost every single list. But they are technically cuttable, and I don't think S tier units are technically cuttable. I think that's the difference to me.
Okay. Next up, we have the Kustom Boosta-Blasta.
So this is one of the buggies that receives no play at all because it doesn't do anything. So this is straight to the pit.
cannot tell you what its dash sheet roll is. I cannot tell you.
This goes straight to the pit.
No, not the Boosta-Blasta. How about the Ludas? Ludas were seen heavily in Mordaka and got nerfed because of it. They undid a little bit of that in September.
Yeah, they're just reverted. Yeah, they're just back to their old points cost now.
How do you feel about the Ludas now?
So 5-man Ludas is still kind of useful. They have, so their gun, it hits on 6s and it's 8-1-2, which is actually like, that sounds fine other than hitting on 6s. If you are on an objective, you roll all your hits, which is also perfectly fine.
Yeah,
so notably in
they need that.
Mordaka, when you had sus 2, that was pretty good, right? That was just fish for 6s, right? And it's fine. My issue with the unit these days is like, I really don't take them much anymore because if I'm putting 5 guys in a transport, it's usually Kommandos filling out my truck.
Or the Burna Boyz.
Or the Burna Boyz. So Ludas have just kind of got fired. Like they just don't really have a home anymore. However, when you do run them in the correct circumstances, I think they're fine. I think they're C tier. They're not like a bad, useless data sheet.
Pretty
It's
cheap.
Just, they're just, yeah, they're very cheap. So when I have 50 points left over, I'll put 5 Ludas in to fill out my transport, right? And I won't be like the most upset about it. I'll be annoyed, but it's fine.
It's a way to get rerolls on your Shokk Attack Gun too.
Yes, which notably when Brigade came out, I could not find a Tank Busta. So I did go to a GT with 30 Ludas with Shokk Attack Guns. And I did win it. But it was cool. And you technically could do that now. So I think it's fine.
All right. Now, Mega Knobs. This is a unit that you are in love with.
I love Mega Knobs.
It's perhaps the most durable infantry unit that orcs have access to. Benefits a lot from the Bully Boys detachment, but can be played in the others. How you feeling about the Mega Knobs right now?
So I have them in A tier because they're in Bully Boys. It's obviously an auto take, but that is more because the detachment only says you can use strats on Mega Knobs and Knobs. So you you are forced to do that if you would like to play that
The
detachment.
double Y helps a lot.
Yeah, I was messing around with them during the Night Meta and Brigade. I don't know that I would really need them anymore. I liked them in the Night Meta and Brigade. And Warhorde, you already kill every vehicle in the game, so you don't like have a real reason to bring them. However, you can have an argument to bring them in Brigade and Bully Boys and Warhorde. Even in like some of the other attachments like Dread Mob, you can give a Big Mech and Mega Armour the Smoky Grebbins enhancement. You can have a -1 to hit stealth or whatever called Mega Knob unit, which is kind of cool with a 4-up invul and res guys. Lots of generic uses for these guys. I think this is a solid A tier because this is a good unit with lots of different uses. It's just not like teetering on the verge of too good.
Yeah. Now we have the Megatrakk Scrapjet. This used to be the most popular of the different buggies. It was the best shooting one previously.
Yeah, it used to shoot really hard.
And it used to do mortal wounds. What is its main role now?
Nothing. So what used to make it a fine shooting piece is it had lots of volume on the rockets, but now it's just D6+1 hitting on 5s. So that's kind of rough. Its ability is it does do some cute little charge mortals, similar to the Brutalis, but less in number. And that's okay. T7, so the tank shock isn't that good. So this is a D tier because I did technically try it in my Speed Freaks list.
You did. You were talking it up.
I was talking
maybe
it
this
up.
is the last piece.
And so it has some use. So not the pit.
Just barely avoiding the
It
pit.
barely avoids the pit.
The mortals are nice to help finish things.
Yeah, that's why-
Orcs are an army when you're playing Speed Freaks where you can wound a lot of stuff. Finishing them off with mortals is pretty nice.
The rocket spam, like it gives, is nice. The charge mortals are nice. Like it has like a real use in Speed Freaks. It didn't make the final cut for me, but it could make the final cut for you.
Next up, we have the Mek himself. This is the cheap little, is like 45 points, and he can give the +1 to hit to a vehicle. So he can pop out of a battle wagon, give it +1 to hit, and then the whole kit and caboodle of firing deck gets +1 to hit.
Yeah, so you can bang on like even a Stompa and give it +1 to hit, or you can bang on like a Gorkanaut, give it +1 to hit. You can also give a truck +1 to hit, which is the most common use for me. So usually what I do with this guy in Tactical Brigade is I will bring him with my ability to give 18-inch orders on him. And then he can hit on the flash kit truck to give a +1 to hit, or tank bustas all can load him in truck and give a +1 to hit. Just a generically kind of useful guy. He's also a lone op when he's next to vehicles. Has several different uses, which are perfectly fine. I think he's in B tier. He's actually, for what he does,
He's a good support character.
yeah, for what he does, he's like perfectly okay. It's just, there's just not a lot of lists that actually need to bring him. But if there were more lists that needed to bring him, you would see tons of mechs.
And then Mek Gunz. We mentioned them a little bit earlier. They're quite slow. And their firepower
slow
adds up over time, but it is something where if you were trying to do a shooting version of orcs, you might lean on these guys.
So Mek Gunz are kind of neat. They really only have play in one detachment. And that's going to be Dread Mob when you put a big mech with Shokk Attack Gun attached to them. And then you are going to give it the Get Finder goggles enhancement so that it ignores cover. So you can give it the reroll hits. You can give it +1 to wound, +1 damage. And that's kind of like the big combo with plus either sus or lethal. The shuriken buff is like okay on the mech gun. I think they're perfectly reasonable in their detachment that way. I would never take them in anything else though, so that gives them the D tier out of the pit.
Little too niche. However, speaking of niche, we have the Gorkanaut, which you had hyped up before.
So I did take the Gorkanaut to my undefeated run at the Rocky Mountain Open with my Boomdakka. I was a Gorkanaut believer. He was actually really quite useful back then. So what's cool about the Gorkanaut is he has the custom Mega Zappa as well as custom Mega Blastas. So he has lots of like melta shots essentially, which isn't the worst. It's like D6 +1 blast melta shots or something like that. And he has a 5-up invuln all the time. Which is,
so you don't have to be in the WAT to have defense.
You do not have to be in the WAT to have defense. And having he is functionally a knight body that has a 5-up invuln all the time, shooting and melee, that is like 260-ish, 270-ish points, just running around. And it's also a transport, fun fact. It's not bad. That's like genuinely useful.
Is this the case where you might take 2 of them?
I
Or
tried.
is it just a solo?
I tried to. Wasn't a big fan of it. I liked the one as like a good anchor. If there was like a reason to bring 2, I think you could do that. The problem is that the abilities you want to give him, you can only do one time.
Okay.
You can give him like +1 to hit, +1 OC, +1 move, and all the cool stuff in Boomdakka, as well as you can also turn him into the wall, but you can only do each of these one time.
Yeah.
Right. So that means that the other Gorkanaut kind of sucks. So
you can Big Daddy Gorkanaut, and then you have the
like a garbage one. Yeah. So I think the one good Gorkanaut is totally fine. Oh, where do I want to rate this guy? Where do I want to put him? I think he's still technically D tier. Like as sad as it is, I think he's still technically
God,
D
you
tier.
were talking. He's better than the Gorkanaut.
But Boomdakka is not playable anymore.
Oh my
They
God.
killed Gorkanaut. They killed it. I put the
What
Gorkanaut.
about the Dread Mob?
No.
No.
So Dread Mob's really more about actually like MSUing you a little than it is like about actually running the Gorkanaut.
Well, how about Mozrog Skragbad? This is the named character who is on a Squigosaur. He used to be seen often in the index days.
He used to be the king.
And since then, I don't believe I have ever seen him on the table.
Yeah, so he used to have a 4-up Phenopain, and he also had a 4-up
He still
has a 4-up invuln, and they were like T9 or something, and you could -1 to them. They did a lot of stuff back then.
They were really durable.
Yeah, they were kind of crazy. So Mozrog doesn't do that anymore. He gives 4-up fight on death to his Squighog Boy unit on 4-up. That kind of sucks. Yeah, he just doesn't do much, right? Like he just
Is
doesn't
he
do
also
it.
still AP1?
He's still AP1. So he does get extra damage in the monsters and vehicles, which is cool. So you can be 4 damage flat and 5 damage on your jaws, which is not a bad profile, but it's AP1. So It's pretty rare it actually does damage. This is another guy that, because of the Beast Snagga attachment, he actually gets a lot of boost out of it, so he can be a lot stronger and get AP2 on everything, and then all of a sudden hit really hard. I think he's in C tier because of that. Also, there's like an argument where you can just like run Mozrog solo in some lists because he does have the War Boss keyword, and he can just run around and just attempt to eat vehicles and still just be a big 4-up invul and 5-up Funeral Pain guy, which is fine. So C tier for me.
Oh, he looks so cool. He's honestly one of the
coolest characters. I love Mozrog. I love Squigosaurs.
Now, Knobs, on the other hand, this is one of the premier elite infantry units that Orks have access to. It's one of their hardest hitting units when led by a war boss, and you typically see these in many Ork lists in a variety of different detachments.
Yeah, lots of ways you can run these guys. They're -1 to wound if you have a war boss attached to them, and if strength higher. Back in the index, they used to be -1 to wound all the time, which was actually really silly. That was really silly. I like them a lot. Power Claws are some of our best melee profiles, right? So the most common way you're going to see this is a war boss with 5 knobs, which is going to be a 180 point package that in the wall has 29 Power Claw attacks, which is actually really quite good.
That's a lot.
That's like really quite good. To me, this is a pretty staple like A tier unit, right? It's not S tier in that like you're going to run this in every single detachment. Technically, it needs to have a detachment that benefits, whether that's going to be Bully Boys or War Horde, and then in Brigade in some cases. But you would never run this in like any of the other detachments. Whereas like Boys and Beast Snaggas, you run in like kind of every single detachment I was kind of talking about before. So that's kind of what technically holds them down for S tier. But I love these guys, so this is not a bad A tier by any means.
Yeah, like we were mentioning with the Breaka Boyz, they have competition. So they have the Breaka Boyz, they have the War Boss plus the Boys, and then they have the Beastboss plus his Snagga Boys. All of that kind of fits, but as you mentioned, the 2 battle line units are always taken in some combination, and then the elite infantry ones are, which one do I take? Moving on to the Pain Boss. We got the Pain Boss and then the Pain Boy here.
Pain Boss does nothing. So,
but he's a boss.
The issue is that Beast Snagga Boys don't have the ability to attach a second character in a 20-man. So you can never bring the Pain Boy.
You want the boss
Pain Boss, because you want the Beast Boss. So, yeah, this is just into the pit. Because the Beast Boss exists, you cannot take him. Like, you just cannot take a Pain Boss. Like, you just cannot take it. So, yeah, it just doesn't do anything.
It just doesn't have a role, specifically because they have not allowed that to happen.
Yep.
Which, honestly, probably could allow that to happen and be really cool.
It would be fine. I mean, if boys can do it, there's no reason a Beast Snagga Boy can't do it.
Then the Pain Boy, on the other hand, he is seen very often, especially in Green Tide.
Yep.
His ability to heal back models and give out the Feel No Pain is pretty crucial.
Yeah, so the big difference like between these two characters, like I said, is that the Pain Boy is usually the second character that you attach to the 20-man boys, right? He's never the solo character that you're bringing, but you're usually going to bring a War Boss and him, or in some cases you can bring like a Weird Boy and him, or a Big Mech and him. Which is great. Like, this has so many uses. When I was running double 20-man boys in War Horde, I had the second one with the Pain Boy with the fallback and do stuff enhancement, so you could resurrect guys and then fall back and charge, which is actually a really good combo. You can get a lot of movement out of that ability. To me, I have the Pain Boy in a solid like A tier. Like, I think he's a really good character. He buffs up the right things at the right time. He has a good attack. He also has the funny ability with the Erdy Syringe that you can do D6 mortals on a crit to something like that. Like, it just does a bunch of damage. So I like everything about the Pain Boy in the right circumstances. This is always a good unit.
Now, speaking of good units, we have the Rukkatrukk Squigbuggy. Just kidding. It used to be,
right.
So this is the reason that you can't run multiple like buggies in the same unit.
That is true.
It used to be you could run 3 in a unit.
Now you can
run
2.
Awesome. And then Games Workshop let you take 9 Squigbuggies, and they shot indirect across the board, and then you had planes supporting that, and it was one of the most heinous archetypes to ever exist in Warhammer in 9th edition. Since that point, buggies have paid the price for it.
Oh, they have paid the price. So the Rukkatrukk is an indirect piece that hits on 6s indirectly at 5/1/2, ignores cover. Now, it is D6 plus 6 shots blast, which is a lot. It also can slow the movement. I believe it's the -2 move, -2 charge ability, which is honestly not the worst at the end of the day, but you have to actually hit them, which is
not guaranteed.
Just actually not guaranteed. So there are some problems with this data sheet. Even if it shoots directly, it's hitting on 5s. So
You're paying the cool almost 300 points for 3 of these.
because 95 each on these.
Yeah, they're going to try and hurt like an Eldari army or some army that has relatively squishy units that are very valuable.
And you can just do that already.
Just send boys and add a trucks at them.
Yeah. So this is, you can technically run it with a mech and run through D tier. It has a technical use.
What about the Shokkjump Dragsta?
Pit.
This is the coolest looking one.
It is sick though. It has a sniper rifle.
Yep.
Right. It's like a las cannon sniper rifle, which is awesome. And then it teleports around the battlefield instead of advancing.
This is my favorite bug.
Also awesome. Doesn't do anything.
No.
Doesn't do anything. Straight to the pit.
So cool.
It's so cool
It's
though.
literally a race car.
I know. I love everything about the Shokkjump Dragsta. I tried to make it work, but the problem is like when you already advance and do everything, teleporting doesn't matter, which is like its main stick. So,
and it's relatively sizable, so it's not fitting in the nooks and crannies.
Yeah.
Then the Squighog Boyz. We mentioned them related to the Squig bosses. They can be taken in an MSU squad, but they do have to run the knob in the squad,
Which is really annoying, actually.
used to not happen. So the squad is a little bit thicker than normal. In addition, you could run a large, is like 9 bodies, right?
Yeah.
The max squad plus the boss in the Squig detachment.
So back when you could run these as like 3-mans for 110, that was sick.
They threw the mortal, they threw the bomb, and then they hit decently hard.
2 damage attacks.
They feel no pain, so they're durable.
Yeah, I really liked them. The MSU. Ever since you have to attach the knob, they now just like cost way too many points. It's 150, and then the knob also makes them huge.
Yeah, the unit is you're not skirmishing.
And back then, the knob used to give them like a buff, right? And now he doesn't do anything.
He's just a fat body.
He's just like some extra attacks that are really big. I don't really like it that much. The Squig detachment, these are genuinely good, right? Because they get extra AP, which solves most of their problems. They're still mounted and large, so they have a hard time navigating terrain. I have them in C tier because in the Squig detachment, they have a legitimate job, but everything else is bad.
What about the Stomper?
You can dream that this doesn't escape the pit. But,
No?
dude.
It doesn't? It's only a cool 800 points.
Yeah, it does not escape the pit.
800 points?
Yeah, it has 5 billion guns, and it has like the mega chopper or whatever it's called. I think it's like the ultra mega chopper or something.
Yeah.
You can make it shoot really hard, Dread Mob, and that's cool. But it's 800 points.
800.
Straight to the pit.
I mean, you can look at every competitive list, and I'll tell you how many 800 point models are in those.
Nothing.
None.
Not one.
0.
Goodbye, Stompo.
Now, Storm Boys, on the other hand, are probably going to end up here in the auto take because I almost always see some amount of these skirmish guys. They're really cheap, advance and charge natively,
And
they're
fall back and
fast.
charge.
They have deep strikes, so they can rapid ingress into nasty positions. It's a good unit.
Yeah, I love everything Storm Boys have to offer. Always advance and charging, always fall back and charging, has decent volume, has a power claw, can go through walls, has the fly keyword. They can screen, they can do actions, they can trade objectives, they can clear chaff. I mean, the big thing is that on GW terrain specifically, you have to jump the gap pretty hard because the no man's land desert wasteland is like not a friendly place for an orc. It's actually quite deadly, which is why you have to like build your whole plan around how am I bridging the gap. And Storm Boys just do it naturally for 65 points. I love everything a Storm Boy has to offer. In Brigade, you can run even more of them. I love that. They have grenades. They just do everything. So I'm a big fan of Storm Boys. S tier for me, right?
Yeah, I think they're straight up S tier. They're a really, really good unit. Tank Bustas. This was the premier S tier shooting unit for the Orks for a while, and they still shoot at monsters and vehicles quite effectively. They're one of the best anti-tank pieces that you have access to. They're good for having the Shokk Attack Gun or some sort of mech lead them. The Pulsar rocket gives +1 strength, +1 AP.
Yes, which is good.
Which is very good. Obviously, also works on that Shokk Attack Gun. So you can get a good amount of damage out of them. As soon as you're playing into a list that does not have monsters and vehicles, their damage output, especially if there's a -1 to hit somewhere, is wildly inconsistent.
Yeah, you have to pretty much run these guys in Brigade to give them the +1 to hit order so they can hit anything decently. So I think they hold hands with the Big Mech Shokk Attack Gun in B tier. Back when the orc shooting was a little bit cheaper and a little more relevant, and the package surrounding that as well was a little bit cheaper, you could see a lot more of these. In Brigade, these are auto take, of course, but it's only Brigade. And like that's kind of it. Dreadmob, it's like fine. Dreadmob's trying to do
What about
something else.
Mordaka?
You know, when Mordaka had rules, It was awesome, but they don't really have rules anymore. So Orc shooting's just been nerfed, so it's just B tier. You just have to have a real reason to bring it.
Now, the truck, on the other hand, is quite possibly one of the best transports in the entire game. It's ludicrously cheap, has a random 6-up invuln, you can get the 5-up in the wah, and it cycles your boys and your beast snaggas and all your nasty gribblies out onto the battlefield and gets them into position to stage on your opponent. This is a great unit when you're putting a lot of pressure on your opponent. They just stand on the objectives.
So truck's 70 points, open topped, move 12. They are made of paper. Like, they do just die to anything. That's their one downside, is you can't like expose it and be like, whatever, I'll smoke it. Like, you can't like a rhino or something along those lines. I take trucks in like every detachment, so it's S tier. It's like Gretchin.
It's just an auto take.
Yeah, it's just like Gretchin. You just
Great
take them.
support piece. Transports are amazing in this edition. And like I said, they stand on the objective, so your opponent has to put actual damage to take you off objectives while billion boys are in your face.
Yep. Love
super synergistic.
Love the truck.
Warbikers. Now, these are guys you've experimented with a decent amount as a little kind of skirmish piece.
Yeah, so Warbikers have shifted around a lot. Back in the index days when you could still advance and do actions, these guys were crazy because they would auto 18 with their characters and like do whatever they needed to do. They have good amounts of shots and they have a power claw and 2 choppas. They're 10 wounds for I think 65 points at T6, which is 4 armor, which is also not bad. And they have a 6-up invuln for whenever that matters. I think they sit in B tier. Right. And Speed Freaks, they're straight amazing. They're really good in Speed Freaks, but also they're a perfectly fine chaff piece that you can take in any detachment, and they're great. Because even in Brigade, you can +1 to hit, which is cool.
War Boss. Standard War Boss who goes in boys or usually in knobs. He's just given the +1 to hit, really helps against these armies that have -1 to hit in combat or some sort of debuff. And in addition, just makes you very, very consistent and adds a boatload of attacks onto the unit as well.
Yeah, in the wall, he's 9 attacks at 11/2/2, which is a really good number. And his attack swig. Never forget the dog. Yeah, this guy's S tier. He's just great. He's a really good character. He's 70, 75 points. Takes whatever enhancements you have really quite well. Attaches to everything really great. Just good.
He's just very good. I'd be shocked to see an orc list without at least one boss.
Yeah, usually you almost always have one, unless it's a full shooting spread. And that's the only time.
War Boss and Mega Armour. Now, you've been running a bit more of the Bully Boys recently with those Mega Knobs. This is one of the premier characters to lead said Mega Knobs.
Yeah, so he becomes 3 damage on the wall, which is really quite cool. And he gives +1 to hit to Mega Knobs, which is important because they hit on 4 space.
Yeah, they need
Yeah, it's very important. I like this character a lot. He has 1 billion wounds. He has 7. And he's T6 with a 2-up armor. Anytime you run Mega Knobs, you're going to run sometimes of War Boss and Mega Armor. I do have them notably in A tier, though, and not S tier, because the War Boss attaches to units you see way more than you do the Mega Knob. And that's the only reason, to be honest with you.
Then the Ghazghkull
In the pit.
What does it do?
It shoots vehicles slightly better, but it's still random and bad.
Oh, all 4 planes. I'm sorry, planes.
Terrible.
Salute them. All right, Weird Boy. Now, this is a character who, if you want to get a little bit janky with your big boy units and start doing some crazy plays, this is the character you'll go for.
Yeah, janky is the good way to put it, Richard. So I hate this guy.
You don't like the unreliability?
I hate this guy. So on a 2-up, you find out if your unit teleports across the battlefield or takes D6 mortals and stands there. Richard, I would crash out if that mattered in my game. I would genuinely, mentally unhinged
I've seen
live.
I've seen it.
If I rolled a 1 on that, I have never run a Weird Boy in the entire edition because I refuse to interact with this ability in any way.
You should ask Lucas Troller. This man loves the Weird Boy.
I'm a hater.
At least when so in Green Tide, you have a stratagem to give charge bonuses, correct?
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
They have
back at that point.
Yes, back
you saw the Weird Boy a lot.
Yeah.
At this point, I have not seen him in quite a while.
Yeah, so the strat you're talking about is like Tide of Muscle or something. What it used to do is you gained + to charge based on the battle round. So you could teleport him and get like a 5-inch charge on turn 4 or something like that, which was sick. That was actually like a sick thing you could do. But now it's just +1 to charge. And if you're 10 or more, I think you re-roll the charge, which is not nearly as good. It's not nearly as good. He's like cute as a little guy that can teleport sometimes, but he just brains himself. occasionally, and I hate that.
If you're still taking like 4 20-man units, this is like your last unit. In the late game, teleporting into a decent position and then just trying to rip the 8, okay. But as one of the first couple units, you want them to do damage. They're taken to do damage and to get up the table. It's the Big Mac and the War Boss are just better.
Yeah. I hate him, so I have him emotionally in D tier. But if you think he's above that, Richard, I will let you move him.
I think he's a C tier character.
Okay, I'll let you do that.
20-man boys are a good unit, and he does open up for the like 3rd or 4th unit to actually get into position without having to take up the space of the other units.
I will accept that. I will recognize my bias in this scenario.
And some people are crazy. They're just like, I'm just gonna rip these charges, and then you make the charge, you tie up their units, get on their objectives.
I'm not that kind of orc.
You could do it though.
I'm not that kind of orc.
The Whir Boy, I have no idea. I didn't even know this was a data sheet. I'm gonna be honest. What the hell is a Whir Boy? Is this the Beast Snagga version of a Weird Boy?
Yes.
Okay.
It is.
I've never seen this
He
model.
has laser eyes, which is cool. The Whir Boy's special power cast is on a 2-up. He can confrazzle an enemy unit. And then whenever they take a leadership or battle shock test, they're -2. Notably, he does not trigger that test. Notably, there's I think 2 rules in the whole Orc Codex that trigger that test. This is awful.
That's all he does?
That's all I mean, his gun gets a little stronger like the Weird Boy when you have more units in it. But you'd have to run 20 piece Snagga Boys and then stick your
And he's the only character that goes inside.
Boy.
Oh, God, what is that?
He is the coolest model ever. He's super sick. His ability is useless. This guy is maybe the deepest model in the pit. He's below the pit in Tartarus. Terrible.
Well, who's not terrible? It's our last data sheet. It is going to be Zodgrod Snagga.
This guy's awesome. So what he gives his 20-man Gretchin unit, you're always taking him with 20, is a Scout 9, -1 to wound, +1 to hit, +1 to wound. And that's all the buffs. I mean, that's obviously an amazing suite of buffs. Really good. I have him in A tier personally because, yes, every time you're taking 20 Gretchin, you're bringing him, but you're not always bringing the 20 Gretchin in him. It kind of depends on your terrain format. What's the context of your detachment? What other further buffs can you provide to this? And also, what is your list trying to do? For instance, I love him in Bully Boys. I used to run him in Warhordes sometimes. I run him in Tactical Brigade.
Yep.
Just a really good flexible unit. Putting 23 models that are -1 to wound.
It's honestly one of the best screens in the game.
Literally the best screen game. You can just make a
super
whole
fast,
wall.
too.
You make a huge wall.
How fast does it move?
Oh, that's the other buff. I forgot about that. Is in the wall, they add 6 inches to their movement, so they move 12. So he gets a
They
jetpack.
scout up, and then they just move 12 with advance and charge.
Yeah, so this was broken. This was broken during the Mordaka days when you would scout 9, 1 CP, flip them into the wall, and then before your opponent sometimes had a movement phase, you would just move 21 inches with an advance and charge.
Just jailed them.
Which was broken. So that doesn't happen anymore. But he's still good. So I think he's an A tier. I think he's a perfectly good character.
All right, well, that rounds us out for the different Orc data sheets here. It seems like Orcs have a handful of auto takes, some decent units in A and B, although not like that many, and then a solid amount of stuff in C and D, which are relatively niche. They fit into mostly one detachment and a detachment that isn't towards the top of competitive. And then there's a handful of data sheets in the pit, which is typical of most of the other factions where your flyers and your fortifications are completely garbage. And then there's some rando characters like this Whirboy, who I've never heard of and never seen before, does nothing.
Yeah, so this really highlights one of the big problems of the Orc book is that you have a bunch of units that are only good in specific circumstances because all of the detachments are just written like, okay, your Beast Snagga units can actually do something. Okay, your Knobs and Mega Knobs can actually do something. Oh, Warhorde, your melee units can actually do something. But there's no... That's why Brigade was so awesome when it came out.
Brigade.
Because I could be good melee, I can be good shooting, I can bring good trash units, I can be like a real combined arms force.
It's no surprise that Brigade and Warhorde have been the strongest styles this year, outside of Mordaka, not counting that.
Yeah, it's basically fake.
Because they benefit the vast majority of data sheets.
Yeah, and it's really cool when you get to run Orcs like that. So it's sad
We need
that
more
it's gone.
detachments like that.
I 100% agree. Orcs need a little more design like that. Lots of armies need more design like that.
A lot of the earlier
codexes. I think this tier list really shows off that Orcs are like a wildly diverse book. This is something I actually talk about. Like, I mean, everybody gives Space Marine flags. So like, oh, you can run this army anyway. Orcs actually do that as well. We just don't do it as good because our data sheets are bad. And that's like actually really the only difference. We cost honestly almost as much, but we just do it way worse, which is still cool that exists. I just wish it was worth our time doing that, but so it's good. You can run all vehicles, you can run all guns, you can run all melee, you can run MSU, you can run combined arms. It's a cool book. I love Orks.
Yeah, you can have skirmish pieces that shoot. You can have skirmish pieces that just do combat. You can have a big elite infantry type of army.
And now that we have commandos, we have infiltrators. Right? We have lone ops with Snikrot. We have a little bit of everything. So it's a cool book. Hope you enjoyed the tier list.
If you have any questions for us, definitely let us know in the comments. If you agree with us, disagree with us, definitely let us know down there. If you enjoyed the tier list, if you like our tier list, please do give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and tell your friends about us. All of that massively helps us grow. In addition, if you want to see more Ork content, check out The Worm at theworm.vhx.tv. There's a bunch of different styles that have been played in there. Michael's been playing some Bully Boys. He's been playing some Warhorde. He's been playing some Tactical Brigade. So there's a good amount of diversity, and you've also shown off Dread Mob as well in the past. And talked about it because you ran it at Worlds last year. So there's a good amount of diversity if you want to learn about the different Ork styles. Check out The Worm, and then in addition, head over to our Discord, where if you are a member, you can go into the Orks channel, and Michael's posting ideas in there, as well as some other top Ork players. So a little hive mind going on, a little Wa brain.
Yeah, especially
action.
after the most recent slate, I was talking a lot. And then
you just did the Ork group coaching as well.
I did just do the Ork group coaching. It was a really good one. I focused a lot more on Bully Boys, and I talked a lot about Speed Freaks in there as well.
But we've started to see, both in teams and singles, Orks have some unique builds coming out and doing really well.
100%.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining. Hope you enjoyed this video, and we will see you all next time. So long for now.
Later.